Good morning, everyone. Today I wanted to talk about the heat, especially for the 4th of July weekend, and what I'm doing to prepare for it. I made myself a little list so I would remember how dangerous heat can be. For older people, people with breathing issues, even infants and small children, it can be very dangerous to be overheated. I'm actually in my 50s, but I have asthma. So for me, I notice it in my lungs. Even though I have my asthma under control, it still affects me. Walking up and down stairs, walking around outside, going in and out of the car to go to the store, things like that. And I can feel it. It constricts my breathing. If you have someone in your life who has breathing issues and you are under a heat advisory, please check in on them. Make sure they're getting enough water. Make sure they have cool water. I visited a 90-year-old this weekend, and when I got there, I was astonished. She only had a very small fan on her side table, and she had a cup of water that was dirty and nothing in her pitcher on the other side table. And I said to her, "What do you drink during the day?" And she said, "Oh, I drink plenty of water." But the truth was she didn't drink anything but 2 sips while I was there that whole time, probably for a couple of hours. I filled her pitcher with ice and water, and I made sure to fill and clean, her glass. And I said, please keep yourself hydrated. It's the least you can do. It's the minimal you can do to stay safe during this heat. Now, she doesn't have air. So tonight, I actually ordered groceries on the Walmart website for my house. And what I'm going to do is bring her a fan. I got one of those stand-up oscillating fans for her. It's like $76 at Walmart, okay, and it plugs in. I did research portable air conditioners. Now here's the problem. She cannot physically move it to her bedroom from her living room. And the portable ones all seem to have to drain out of a window or in the actual unit. She would never be able to, drain it on her own. And I don't know how often somebody's going to be there to be able to do that. I live an hour away. So it's not practical for me to get her something like that, knowing full well she's not going to be able to drain it herself. She might also complain because if it goes through the window, of course, now you're looking at a hole in the window, bugs, what if it rains, things like that. She's not going to go for that. I know this. So I thought this tower fan would be the best thing. And it's one of those oscillating one, and it has 12 settings and a remote. So she can sit in the recliner with her feet up, and she can press the buttons if it's too cold, not cold enough, and operate it manually herself. And then the little fan that she has, she can put in her bedroom. So there are things that we can do to help each other. There are things that we can do to check in on people that are older than us or people that have breathing problems. People with small children, keep them in mind too, because a lot of times moms and dads don't have money extra set aside when they have infants. I mean, the cost of diapers and everything baby needs these days. I just went to a baby shower and it cost me like $60 and I got 2 outfits and a rattle. I mean, that's ridiculous. The price of everything has gone up, skyrocketed. So if you can, just reach out, see how they're doing, see if there's anything you could do to help. Or offer some ice. That's another thing. I remember when I was raising my children, we never had enough ice in my household. I ended up going to buy more ice cube trays, and at times I would just buy a bag of ice at the convenience store because I never seemed to have enough ice. That's another thing. That's just a small gesture that can go a long way, especially when you can put that in a bag, like a freezer bag, even a paper towel, whatever you got, and put it on your neck to cool yourself off. When I go to the gym in the summer and I get overheated, I have 2 water bottles I bring with me, and they're always full of ice water. And I do that. I press them against my neck, and it helps cool me off when I'm on like the treadmill. So I know that does work. And that's just a very simple, free gesture that you can literally take out of your own freezer to offer somebody in the terrible heat situation. This morning on the news, I saw that there's a bunch of states in America and Europe that are under terrible heat warnings that are going to go through the weekend, the 4th of July weekend. Now, usually my family goes to a picnic, an outdoor picnic. The people have an Olympic-sized pool, and they have a buffet. It's like, you bring your own dishes. What do they call that? I can't remember now. Potluck, I guess. You bring it all over there, and then, they have it out. Well, they're not having it this year. The heat is just too unbearable. Nobody wants to be sitting outside for 8 hours in this heat. You can't leave food out in the heat, so there's no point. So there's not having it. I do have a pop-up pool, you know, one of those Walmart specials for $300. I didn't put it up this year. I'm on medication, and that's another thing. A lot of people are on medication that makes them overheat. So just be aware of that as well. Like, I have to be very careful when going outside, going into a hot car, even sitting in my own house. Sometimes I sit here in a dark room to keep cool because the medication I'm on for my heart actually makes me overheat. And it's very severe in some cases for other people as well. So that's just something to be aware of. And also, I have my water here right in front of my face so I can keep sipping it because my mouth is terribly dry from my medication, but it's worse in this heat. Now, the other day, over the weekend, I went to a dance recital, and it was so much fun. All these cute little kids. It was like ages 3 to 17, and it was a dance company that hosted it. So it was like in a very large auditorium, and everybody was sitting. There was like 400 people there. I don't usually go out in public spaces like that because of my health issues. So I don't like getting sick because of my health issues. So I don't go in crowded places. I'm so glad I did, though. And, you know, the inner part of that auditorium was cooler than the rest. But I have to say, once you exited the auditorium, that heat hit you right in the face. And then I had to wait because there were 400 people there, plus all the kids. There were like 100 kids. Now you got 500 people exiting the building at the same time. And everybody was standing on the sidewalk. There was no place to sit down. The cars were actually in another parking lot. There were so many people that came out for this that the police had to escort people. So the cars were actually in a whole different section, which they wouldn't let us exit to. We had to exit like on an upper level. So in order to get to the cars, we would have had to walk like probably 3/4 of a mile. And so people were just driving the cars up for everybody, you know, and I was waiting there. And the heat just got to me just standing there. It was dreadful, I have to say. So that's what I'm saying. And that wasn't even really in a heat wave. That was just normal heat. A couple of other points I wanted to make is, you see me here like this. My hair is not dirty. I just got out of the shower. There was no way I was blow drying this today. I usually take a rolling curling thing that blow dries and curls your hair at the same time, and there was no way I was doing that. I said, oh no, because I don't want to get so overheated. I'm already sweating just from sitting here in front of the LED ring light. So that's another thing, you know, taking showers, sitting in a cool tub. I don't even take hot showers, you know, I take cool showers to cool me off. Another thing that I did this year in 2026 was, you know, I haven't worked in corporate America, so I'm going to be downsizing my wardrobe. And my wardrobe is like winter clothing because when I did work in corporate America, I had a cushy office, air conditioning. I never needed short sleeves. I was always freezing. I always had sweaters. I have a sweater for every single outfit pretty much. And most of my outfits are long sleeves. I do have dresses with short sleeves, but they're fancy. They're not material I would be wanting to sit here in right now, you know, like rayon and stuff like that. So I decided, you know what, I'm going to get me some loungers, and that's exactly what this is. This is actually sleepwear, but it's a dress-like product with pockets. At my age, I like to keep pockets with my glasses, my cell phone, a pen, whatever I need in my pockets. I do have aprons too with pockets for that reason, but it makes it so much easier for me to take a shower, throw one of these on. It just slips over the head. They're comfortable. They're like 12 or 13 bucks. You can't go wrong. It looks like a dress. It's below the knee because I'm modest. I don't like short outfits. And because it's cool, it's cotton, 100% cotton. I scoured the internet for these, thinking if I could just find something like this, I could stay cool instead of wearing like a hot house robe or, you know, one of my dressy dresses in this heat. So that's another thing. Walmart delivered these for free. They do have some in their stores, but these were not. These came, like, they were shipped to me. So that's just another thing to keep in mind. If you don't have any cool things to wear, look at getting some t-shirts, cotton though, cotton t-shirts, you know, things that are loose fitting, things that aren't tight pressed up against your skin, because then you might end up with heat rash, and things that are too restrictive really do affect your health. At least I have found that to be the case. The other point I was going to say is when my relatives said they were calling off the 4th of July picnic this year. So when they said that, I was actually relieved because I'm like, there's no way I'm sitting out there, you know, think about all the potato salad, macaroni salad, people that put mayonnaise in this stuff and that's sitting out there in that blazing sun all day. Oh, yuck. Food poisoning, you know? But then in addition, pools around here this time of year are generally cold, but people have heated pools too. You don't want to go out and sit in a heated pool when it's 100 degrees outside. So that's another thing. Just because somebody has a pool doesn't mean they can keep, you know, cooled off in it. My little pop-up pool that I have, even though it's not a professional pool and it's just a Walmart special, you know, it gets hot in the summer. The sun heats it up after a while. Now, I didn't put it up this year, but if I had, it probably would be hot already. So that's another thing. It's like not even refreshing. We have a lot of beach areas here too, but even though we do, they're always full. They're full by 8 a.m. If you don't hit the highway and get over there to the many beaches we have, because I live on a shoreline, there is no room. Your car is turned around and sent home. There are signs on the highway. Beach full, beach full, beach full. I remember going with my kids when they were little and I would have to leave the house at 7 o'clock in the morning, which was fine because little kids get up early. But it was terrible. You'd get there and it was like wall-to-wall people at the beach. Who enjoys that? And then the water wasn't even refreshing. It was warm. So the other thing is my elderly neighbors, like right down the street here, they have a hot tub in their backyard. And I'm like, oh my goodness, I hope they don't go sit in that, you know, in this weather. And that brings up another point. I've seen people get these weird parasites and amoeba situations from ponds. They go camping in freshwater ponds that grow like this algae or parasites and stuff, and then they can get into their bodies and make them very, very ill. So I'm just saying, you know, please protect yourself out there. Just watch out for other people if you can. If you know people with small children, you know people with grandparents living with them, grandparents living on their own, people that are very elderly, like my friend, please protect them, protect yourself, do what you can, offer somebody a cold drink. I know when people come to my house, whether it's to service the AC or it's to deliver groceries, I don't care. I will offer them cold bottles of water in this heat. Even if you don't have an appetite, grab a popsicle, you know? At least it keeps you hydrated. I have switched to an electrolyte powder. So now I take this electrolyte powder. It's called Ultima, Ultima. I get it at Walmart. It ships to my house for free. It is expensive. You can get an 8-pack of little sleeves of it. They're like $1 something a piece. Or you can get a little tiny jar. It looks like a under eye bag cream jar. And it's the powder that you scoop. It comes with a little tiny scoop. And it's all your electrolytes because being overheated is no joke. I found out the hard way when I got very ill from, my problem was overhydration. I drank too much water. So I drank too much water in a little bit of time and I got violently ill. So that's another thing. So I record my water now in an app that tells me how much water I've had to drink. There are recommendations out there. I try to stay within 96 to 120, I think, ounces a day. But I'm also going to the gym and things. So when I do that, I make sure that I have enough hydration. But if you overhydrate, that can be a problem as well. So what happens is all the hydration in your body gets rid of your good electrolytes. So you need supplementation. Some people say eat salt, but there are people out there that can't have salt, especially people with kidney problems, heart problems. So, you know, but I get the electrolyte powder and I drink it every single day at lunch. I just put it in my water and this counts as 40 ounces. This is a 40-ounce water, whatever you want to call this, cup. I hope you all stay cool. You know, there's a dangerous heat wave over in France, I believe, right now. And I read a report yesterday. It's not good, okay? I just want all my friends here to be safe. Practice good hydration. Reach out. If you don't have ice, if you don't have cool water, reach out to somebody. Tell somebody, you know? Network. That's what life is all about. Network with somebody else. Even if you think nobody cares, they do. When somebody who is very elderly and they're homebound and they're in their house, you can just pick up your Walmart app, or any app for that matter, and order them groceries, order them a pizza, order them something to eat, so they themselves don't have to go out of the house. Power outages. I don't know how common they are where you live in the heat. They're not common here at all, but we're under a warning. Power. We could lose power. That would be devastating to me because of my asthma. I'm under an air conditioner right now. So basically, keep that in mind. People might not have power. They might not be able to turn their lights on, their air conditioning, their ceiling fans, any way for them to stay cool. If I ever get overheated in my house, I can go out to my car, start it up, and turn on the AC. So make sure you have a full tank of gas too. Please stay safe out there. Thanks for watching today. Take care.